Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. It's time for another SideKick Power Hour with your host, Joshua R. Pangborn. It's so good to see you all on this Monday, March 31st. It's the last Monday in March. It's the last day in March. And it is also Trans Day of Visibility. So I wanted to just take a moment to say that I wish everyone a wonderful and important day of trans visibility because it should be every day that trans people are visible, and at Sidekick Productions they are, but that isn't always the case, and I wanted to just make sure that we take a moment and celebrate that. So celebrate Trans Day of Visibility. Not that they're not recognized everywhere. That is an unfortunate turn of events. But we won't talk about that too much because that is not the point of tonight's show. Tonight we are celebrating a very special pair of guests. But before we get there, just a quick reminder: if this is your first time on the show, SideKick Power Hour is a part of SideKick Productions, and what we do on this show is we celebrate queer, fat positive, sex positive artists who specialize in telling stories, in making music, and making art, and in especially in making horror related to the world of queer, fat positive, and sex positive art and creation. I obviously do a lot of that with the stuff we do at Sidekick Productions. If you don't know me, well, check out Sidekick Productions. We have a lot of wonderful things for you to watch. You can go to our YouTube channel, Sidekick Productions, on YouTube, or you can go to sidekickproductions.org on the website online, or you can go to a lot of other places where you'll find us on our Patreon, for example, thecrooniverse.com, and you can join the Crooniverse for as little as $3 a month. But what we do is we like to highlight and celebrate people who do something special in the world of queer, fat positive, sex positive art and creation. Last week we celebrated some wonderful, wonderful people, and this week we are doing the same. And I'm going to bring them on right now. They are a pair of extremely talented artists who specialize in making leather for the for everybody really, but I like to think that they specialize in making it for people of all body types who are looking to be able to express themselves in leather in ways that they haven't been able to with other companies. And so, without further ado, I will bring on Cockeye Kink, Claire and Eric. Hello.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
How are you both today?
fantastic. Thank you.
Doing well.
I am glad to hear that. Why don't you take a moment to introduce yourselves to our audience before we get too far?
Sure. My name is Claire Stevenson. I started Cockeye Kink kind of with the idea back in 2018. It took off in 2019, and up until January of this year, I'd been also doing a day job. But in January, I quit the day job and now doing this full time. Yay! Very exciting. And it always has been my goal to make unique gear for people of all sizes. So that's what we do.
That's awesome.
And hey, my name is Eric Smith. I'm the other half brain, whatever you want to call it, behind Cockeye Kink. I joined in early 2019. Claire and I had known each other for a while before, but kind of jumped in with him at the beginning of this and do a lot of the metal work, production work. We go to events together as well, and so all this. But yeah, we've been going this for over 5 years now, going on 6.
That's really exciting. It's the years creep up on you. I think. I know. Like this is the 10th anniversary of our first series that we ever made. Skeleton Crew came out 10 years ago in October, and just like where did 10 years go by? So before you know it, 10 years will go by for you as well, and we'll be having a big celebration. I hope to
Hopefully, yes.
So you're both based out of the West Coast, correct?
Correct. Pacific Northwest, just in the Seattle area. We're not Seattle proper, but we're in the area.
But you travel everywhere.
Correct. We just 2 weeks ago we were in Dallas for Texas Bear Roundup, and before that we were in DC for Mid-Atlantic Leather, and we've got about 4 or 5 more events that we are going to the rest of this year. And the next one being, of course, in Cleveland and Claw. And then Eric will be going to Portland here in a couple of weeks for Kink Fest.
Yeah, so we'll be doing 2 events coming up in about 2 weeks.
That's so cool. And it's great to have a partner because you can both split up and go off and do what you do everything you need to do and not have to be in 2 places at once because you have somebody else to do that. So.
Well, this will be our first time that we will be in 2 places at the same time. So we're going to test that theory.
Yeah, we're finally getting to the level where we can handle, or hopefully handle, 2 events, split. I mean, we've done this rodeo a few times now.
So what happens when you go to an event? Talk me through that, because I've actually never been to one of these events. So and I'm very curious to know how you proceed when you go to an event.
So interestingly enough, we've mostly been going to leather and kink events, but in the last couple of years, we've been going also to the bear event, Texas Bear Roundup. And, we arrive always a day early because we have to set up. There's always a frenzy of activity to get our booth set up, because there's also about 20 to 40 other vendors also trying to get set up. And we're sometimes we're given a couple hours, sometimes we're given a day. But like with TBRU, we got in at 7 a.m. and it opened at noon. So yeah, so it was a scramble.
Loading bay wars are real.
Yes. So it was we rush in, we get set up, and then we're on the floor talking to people, oftentimes 10 hours a day. I find it very energetic. I thrive off the energy of talking with people, and I believe that once they've entered my booth space, that they've given me unspoken consent for me to talk to them, and so. Which is different for me when like at a bar. I might be less talkative, but when I'm talking about what I'm passionate about, I would like, hey, how you doing? What's your experience and all that type of stuff. And so, but that's also draining on the physical and mental battery. So after 10 or 12 hours of doing that, your feet are also very mad at you at this point. And so, when people say, hey, when, the day's done, hey, you want to go out to the bar? You going out to dance? I'm like, no. So.
Yeah. It's like, I'll get food and then play it by ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand. I've been in very similar situations, not quite like that, but enough to know, like, I'm putting on the work and then I'm ready to go and sleep. So.
Because we have to get up and do it again, often
Yeah.
2 or 3 days in a row, so.
But I imagine anybody who walks into your booth, though, is incredibly welcomed, because I've spent a couple days now with you, and I've chatted with you a bunch now, Claire, and I know that you are just an incredibly gracious and wonderful to talk to person who makes it very easy and comforting to make it feel like we've known you for years. When I was talking to you, I was like, oh, I feel like I've known Claire forever, even though I just met him 3 seconds ago. And Eric,
well,
same with you, Eric. But I've spent more time with Claire at this point. So
no, I get it. Yeah, Claire's definitely that type of person. Like ever since we became friends, like I have always got that vibe off of this, just gracious and welcoming.
And it's I think a lot of our past experiences make us who we are. Mm-hmm. First of all, it wasn't easy growing up named Claire in Oklahoma, so that has given me a unique perspective of being different. I was also a chubby kid and non-athletic, and I liked musicals, and and I was a nerd, and I did not fit into the normal group, and so
what are you saying? That sounds like so normal.
I know, well, normal for that's why I find my tribe,
so mainstream.
So it's been I understand what it feels like to be not feel like you're accepted. So I always do my best to try to make everyone feel welcome. One of the things I don't really discover, but it was reiterated to myself just 2 weeks ago when we were at Texas Bear Roundup, which is, I'm getting kind of a collective feeling that a lot of bigger guys haven't necessarily had the best experience when it's come to gear, either buying something off the rack, which was not meant for the size, or trying something on and it was just too small, and it made them feel extra made them feel extra aware of their size. And 10 times out of 10 I'm like, do you want to try something on? No. I'm like, why? Well, I don't look good in it. I'm like, no, what happened is you had a bad experience. Let me put something on, let's adjust it to the right size. And it's amazing to watch that light bulb when they look themselves in the mirror, and like for the first time, or maybe for the first time, they're like, wait, who's that? I'm hot, or I look good, or whatever. It's a really, really warm feeling to actually have someone have that experience, because I know I had to have that experience myself, growing up with a horrible self-image growing up. So it was just like, I like being able to provide people with the opportunity to have a positive experience.
I love that, and that's why I was so excited to when our mutual friend Richard put us in touch with one another. I uh it's really hard to find people who want to take the time to make someone who is non-traditionally sized feel comfortable with clothes. I speaking from a perspective of an actor, I mean, whenever I go to a costumer or something and they they always make it feel like you're difficult to fit because they can't just go to Old Navy and pick something up and for you because you have, in my case, I'm quite round and I'm quite short, so sizes don't make sense for me usually. They need to be adjusted in some way, shape, or form. And I when I approached you about leather for the movie The Contract, I was a little nervous because I didn't know how to, because I knew you had made pieces for Bryce for his music videos. And but Bryce is a little more traditionally sized than I am. So I was like, this is gonna be so awkward, or it's gonna be hard or uncomfortable. But it was you made the whole process so easy and so safe feeling for somebody who, and I mean, I've been through this a lot, so I mean, I'm used to trying on clothes, I'm used to doing all these things for parts and everything, but there's always that little bit of trepidation. And so I imagine anybody who goes into there who's not used to it, they're going to feel so comforted in your hands because you take the time to make them feel special. So
Well, yeah, I mean, as being a chubby kid and a chubby adult, we've heard the stories about growing up and always having to go to the husky kids pants
mhm.
and or going as a teenager going to the big and tall stores to find things to fit because the normal teenage clothes did not fit.
Yeah.
And I think we all have the same trope of where because of our size, I always had baggy. I wanted big baggy shirts and I
Mhm.
wanted big baggy pants and well, it's also the 80s and 90s, so
There's also that, but
but then there's that. But I mean, it really,
it works.
it was this compensation, almost like we felt like we had to hide ourselves because
Mhm.
we had this. I don't want to call it embarrassment or shame but it's almost like systematic, like we were brought up to
Well, it's
feel
it was what was expected of us.
right.
You don't show that. So
So especially as raised very conservative, so we weren't even allowed to wear shorts in summer. So
oof.
it's like it's one of the things. Don't show skin, don't and all that kind of stuff. And so it's been an interesting evolution, and I can
Mm.
imagine that's not unique to me. I'm sure anyone growing up in I was going to say the Midwest, but it doesn't have to be strictly the Midwest. But let's say an area that has a heavy conservative
A less welcoming environment.
environment has felt that shame. Not and oftentimes we don't even know why. It's just like like systematically we just feel this way. We don't know why. Just because. Yeah, it is. It's weird.
No,
But
it is. It's ingrained. It's part of the culture that we grew up in, and it's something that I work really hard to make sure that people try to shake off through the work that I make. And I think you're doing the same thing through the work that you're trying to do. I mean, I saw one of the actors put on a piece that he's never worn leather before. And I but he was in your room trying on the pieces and everything, and he felt really good about himself, and he's somebody who's not unconfident in himself, but at the same time, you're putting on a new piece of wardrobe that feels that you've never worn before. It's and you always felt it was for somebody else. But I watched you took the time to make a piece for him that made him feel very attractive, I think. So
yeah,
Yeah, it's all about tailoring the outfit and the piece to the person, whether it be literally tailoring, to size and measure, or with a lot of the metalwork for our harnesses, it's kind of tailoring like a tattoo, where it'll be an
mm,
artistic representation of a piece of your personality. So there's a lot of like custom and uniqueness that can really feed into the person feeling that sense of self-confidence is maybe a word for it, but like that love for how sexy they
Yeah.
feel.
And you do such a great job at tailoring things to people because you have such a wide range of individualized opportunities for people to decorate their harnesses and all, and to sort of make them unique for themselves because you have such a wide skill set to create the things you've created. So because you have harnesses which are more from the leather probably community, BDSM community, but then you also go really nerdy with the harnesses from I think you have Power Rangers, I know, and
Yeah,
you made Pokemon, didn't you?
we've
Yeah.
done some Pokemon, some Magic the Gathering. We've done
Some Lord
several
of the
different
Rings.
superheroes,
Lord of the Rings, superheroes. Yeah.
Kinky to geeky. It's all one circle.
Yeah.
And it's also the same sort of. It's a very fine line between kinky and geeky. So
Yes.
but
I'm a big Star Wars fan, so making anything Star Wars or Star Trek or anything like that has just been. It's really funny because we are such nerds ourselves. We get just as excited to make something for someone, knowing that they're going to be just as excited to receive it.
yeah.
Nerd passion.
Yeah.
And you've got folks in the comments who love your work. So Wayne says, "Awesome folks, love their gear. Highly recommend." And I also would highly recommend because it's very comfortable. Their gear actually. So uh, you always think leather's not going to be comfortable, but it was very very comfortable. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed wearing it, and I think that everyone else who wore it did. In fact, the pieces were so nice when I got them. I rethought how some of the costuming for the whole film just to make sure that people would wear them more because I really just enjoyed how they looked, but also how they felt because they were just really fun pieces to wear, and I enjoyed them a great deal.
Let's discuss your red carpet look then.
Yes, we should discuss that. I would love to have some sort of original leather piece of red carpet from you guys.
Yes.
When we do that because that would be ideal. That's a dream come true right there. So
well, it's
now
funny
I'm gonna have to do that.
that week that we were in New York to help you out. Did I tell you the story about how I met a guy at a bar who ended up being Megan Thee Stallion's?
You did, yes. But tell the audience that, yeah.
And I was telling him what we did and that we had a water jet, and water jet can cut any material. And he's like, "Well, I've been wanting to design this piece for Megan's a Met Gala piece. It was like going to be a bustier kind of thing. It needed to be cut out of something metal, I think." I said, "Oh yeah, we could do that. That'd be great." And so he said, like, really super excited. And then he goes. And then I said, "Well, and then we can cut Kevlar. We all know Kevlar is, or if we don't, it's the bulletproof or very tough. In fact, water jet is the only way you can cut Kevlar." And he goes, "Really? You cut Kevlar?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, well, I'm working on a bulletproof vest for Beyonce." I'm like, "Well, all right then."
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
we can protect the queen bee.
I better get that red carpet in now because you're not gonna have time for me before.
Well, and I think I may have told you about how I ended up meeting Chapo Owen's gay uncle.
You did, yes.
And I'm like, I'm making her a Pink Pony Club harness. I'm going to send it to him to send to her because that needs to happen.
Did you make that yet, or?
It's on the list.
Not yet. We are going to be actually sometime this week going to our leather supply. We're going to pick up some very special pink leather.
Sparkly
pink
leather. Yes.
So everybody keep an eye out on our socials. We might post some pictures of that.
So let's say somebody wants to order something from you. What's the turnaround time at this point? Because you both are getting quite popular and quite busy. So
well, we used to say 4 to 6 weeks, but it has become our queue is getting long. So I often tell them to look more like 6 to 8 weeks now, because especially when people want something, let's say for International Mr. Leather, which is in May, they need to talk to us in January, at least get the ball rolling, because we do have actually a pretty long list of things that we're going through right now. We're just working through our January orders right now here in end of March, early May, June, April. So it is the list is getting long, and of course we don't ever want it to get so long that it becomes annoying. So we're working our hardest. Of course, it's really helped that I quit my day job and I'm doing this full time.
True.
but that also added to, like, we've got some really amazing irons in the fire right now. We're working up some great collaborations with other companies and other brands. Stuff I can't talk about yet, but it's going to be amazing. And the next year is, in fact, we already know what. Literally, the year's not almost half over, but we know what we're doing for the next 6 to 12 months, and
all the events
and the events they're going to, and the travel. I went to Darklands, which is in Antwerp, Belgium, in late January, and that opened up a huge opportunity for European events and European exposure.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It was, I mean, honestly, we hope to go to be able to be at Antwerp, Belgium for Darklands next year. They invited us to be. We've had, London Fetish Week was something we talked about. Of course, Folsom Europe is something we're talking about. Massapaloma's Fetish Week in October. These are all people. And then, of course, World Pride 2026 is going to be in Amsterdam. It just so happens that someone we made a harness for back in 2019 now is in charge of the or like president or co-president of that, and she saw me at Darklands and was like, oh my God, we want you there. So I mean, it was just what an amazing opportunity that's coming along, that we're just like, okay, hey, let's move. Let's move.
That's amazing. So the whole year then. So what other events are in the US that you're going to? I know you're going to Claw and you're going to Kink Fest.
Well, so we have that, and then the next big trip is going to be for IML in Chicago. We're going to drive out for that, and then the following weekend is Bears, Bikers, and Mayhem up in Baltimore. All of these. So we're going to drive straight from Chicago up to Baltimore, do that. After that event, we're going to stay down in Philadelphia for about a week or so, just kind of visiting friends and all that, and then he's gonna start driving home. I'll fly home just to get a head start on orders, and then after that, is there anything until Palm Springs?
No. Oh, we got lots. Oh, yes. So
he's got more schedule in his brain than I.
Well, we're hoping to attend London Fetish Week, which is early July, and then we're going to be teaming up with Mr. S during Dory Alley weekend. They always have their big block party weekend, which is a Friday and Saturday. They already carry our metal tags, our dog tags, pig tags, and bear tags, but
which are really really cool. I have some, by the way, everybody.
Yeah. So we're going to be there representing Cockeye Kink in the store, selling tags, and helping them in the store, but also focusing specifically on the tags during Dory Alley weekend. So that's through July, and then early August we're doing the Pacific Northwest Leatherman's Camp Out, and then late August is Folsom Europe, which is in Berlin. We're going to be attending and looking at trying to get vending set up for next year. So that's late August, and then September is, of course, San Francisco Folsom Street Fair, which is, we'll do the same thing with Mr. S again, where we'll rep our stuff. So, and then October is Palm Springs Leather Pride. In the last week of October and the early first week of November is Palm Springs Pride, which we've last 2 or 3 years we've teamed up and done both weekends. And then if they're still planning it, oftentimes the people who throw the event Claw in Cleveland have done last 4 years an event in LA over Thanksgiving. Sometimes it's called Leather Getaway, sometimes it's called Leather Thanksgiving. And if they do that again, we'll be there again. And then we'll have basically 5 weeks to get ready for Mid-Atlantic Leather again, which would be in January of DC. And then it's leather again, leather, rinse, repeat. And this
I'm
year
getting anxiety just hearing all of this. It sounds you're such a trip. Wow.
And somewhere in there we'll be getting all ready so that we can be in Darklands, which would be the end of January, which means right after DC we will probably put everything, ship everything, or maybe we'll be shipping things. I'm still working out the logistics about getting our stuff over there so that we can be there for late January. And so it's just one thing after another. We've looked at possibility of doing IBC in February in the International Bear Convergence in Palm Springs. and then TBRU, and then claw. And here we are again. So that's how I know my next year. I know exactly what we're doing for the next
That's
year.
amazing. But I still think you should squeeze in Bigger Vegas somehow because people there would eat you up. So.
When is
That's
that?
on my list.
Tell me about it.
That's on my personal
Bigger Vegas
list.
is the first week of July.
Okay.
So, and I will be there because SideKick Productions is showing both of our movies there. Not the contract, but we're some of the guests. Where 2 of our features that we made before will be there as part of the guest entertainment package. So I'll be there.
Fantastic.
So I'm selfishly saying you should be there so I can see you, but
well, yeah.
But also because I think people will eat you up, and they will be like, "We want your stuff." So,
well, now that's something to think about, and then I'll hit you up for more details after this is over.
Absolutely, use me as much as you can. So. And now I realize how that sounds. But hey,
hey, filming is stopped.
Exactly. No, but that's probably both really, really exciting and also really just overwhelming that you know all of your year for like that. So.
And in between it all, we have to be here at the house and workshop and getting all
Making
the orders
everything.
done.
Yeah.
So we got to find time to actually do everything.
And people are begging us to open a retail like a line, which is something what's in the works. But being able to
really, what would that look like? A retail line?
So
just regular harnesses, or would you move into clothing then?
We'll start out with harnesses and suspenders. But right now we have the deluxe. You have a deluxe harness that we made for you, and it's got custom logo and custom all this type of stuff, and it's adjustable and all this type of stuff. And then we made a standard harness for one of the other cast members, and then we did the asymmetrical gladiator style for the other cast member. So those are different work efforts. And so like for the fully customizable, adjustable, big, we make it so that it all the lovely work. So we kind of want to be able to have the custom experience when you're in a store. Now we probably won't open our own brick and mortar, but we'd like have a kiosk within another store, let's say like Sir Rat Leather or Doghouse Leather or something like that, where you can go in those stores and there's the Nasty Big corner, there's the Cell Block corner.
Sure.
And so I would love to be able to have this the experience where someone would say, hey, I would like a custom harness, meaning I would like to go and pick a color of the 6 primary colors. Okay, I would love to have a red harness. And then we have maybe up to 6. It's very similar to what we have on our Etsy site right now, where we have themes. Like we have a bear theme, we have a puppy theme, we have a water sports theme, we have a fishing theme, we have a cigar theme, boots theme. And so if someone says, hey, I want to do a puppy harness, I want it to be purple. So I get purple straps, and then I get the puppy pieces, and I happen to be an extra large. So we grab those sizes. So those are 3 options right there, right? Color, size, and theme. And it reminds me of a certain stuffed animal store that we will not say by name, but you're able to
assemble a sign,
assemble your own piece.
Oh my God, that's a shirt.
And so that in 10, 15 minutes, because the employee of that store has been trained to know how to put it all together. In 20 minutes you walk out with a custom harness. And
that was also something, by the way, that was so cool about the harnesses that I realized that the pieces I have, I could interchange with if I wanted to change something, I could do that. I don't have to get a whole new harness. I just have to order new pieces, which I thought was so cool.
Well, so the 2 things about our deluxe harnesses that was like the drive behind making them was also the 2 things that other leather makers and such were saying, you're killing your business. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, normally if someone outgrows a harness, they have to buy another harness. I'm like, yeah, I hate that. And that's why we did the adjustable. And then they're like, well, if they want, some like a red harness and maybe the theme harness, and then if they want something else, they have to go buy another harness. Yes, but what if we just sold them in the part, and then they could just swap out the part and have completely different harness and not have to spend another $500 to have it. And yes, I might be, dipping into my own profit margin right there. But as a consumer myself, I'm like, I would love the idea of being able to have a harness that as I either get bigger or get smaller, I can adjust it.
Yeah.
And then hey, one day I want to be a bear, one day and a pig the next day. I can, swap out the parts and go and have what appears to be a completely new harness and go. And so that has been the forethought of our vision from day one was, the adjustability and the adaptability.
Yeah. Quality and longevity and adjustability.
And I think I personally think that's incredible, actually. Like that would make me keep coming back. I've already thought about that. I'm like, well, now I've got this harness, but some of these pieces don't make sense for me to wear in real life. So what can I do for that? So I've already thought about how, if I'm going to keep using this, I need to figure out how to reincorporate it into my actual life as opposed to for a movie. So.
Well, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And, mention that to the other cast members, because, those harnesses were made for them. And, if they want to be able to, I know that one of them was I think pig theme, which is pretty, you could go to a bar and be a pig. But the other one I know had a logo from the movie, but if they wanted to actually swap that out for a bear, a puppy, or whatever, that's very easy to do. And then they can have basically a harness for their own enjoyment.
Oh, I've already talked about that with them. So we're exploring what things and all that. There's a lot to figure out and talk about, and of course, probably incorporate into their red carpet looks as well. So I mean, but
absolutely.
Tell Megan we said hi.
I will. When we're at the Met
oh my God, you too?
Is that a Cockeye Kink? Oh my God, who are you wearing?
Yes, it is.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, we're so gay. I love it.
Very, very much so. So this is amazing stuff that you do, though. And you work with because you showed me some pieces that looked like they were not made of leather, but they were leather, and I was amazed by them because I think you had a pair of jean chaps, right?
Yes. So one of the things that is pretty amazing about what we do is we've been getting into printed leather, which is very much like an inkjet process, which is printed onto the leather and then sealed and set. And so I've made blue jeans, light blue jeans, but with a jean print, but it's on leather, and so it looks like you're wearing jeans, but they're leather. Same thing with the bleached out jeans, like it was pulling that they're called bleachers. Normally, people take old Levi's or Lee's and they splash bleach on it and make them. And so, but it's a lot of punks wear them that way and such. So we do it with leather, and we do it both as jeans and as chaps. And then, I don't know if you want to spoil the ones we made for you, but it was a very interesting pattern.
I love the pattern. Yep. And I will also add that I also have a jock that they made. Just to spoil that. The jock is so comfortable. Like, jocks are not comfortable. I've worn leather jocks before. For our modeling gig, it was not a comfortable jock to wear. This was so comfortable.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
It was very, very.
So
very
and then
I was like, I don't have to take this off. This is so easy to wear.
Well, what's interesting is we're testing out all kinds of new ideas right now. Kind of some work, some don't, but most of the time that we've been working at. And one of the things we're learning about gear and about clothing is if someone's going to invest in a leather outfit, then they want to look different. They don't want to look like anyone else. They don't want to look like something that like the guy next to them. And so,
everyone loves a classic look, but everyone wants to also feel unique.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we try to make things, unique. And, at the moment when it comes to chaps and pants, it is made to order because, especially with leather, you don't want saggy leather. So we do make it to measure. We do have the shirts, all the way from small to 3XL. But if you happen to have a body type that needs to be adjusted, we also do custom shirts. And I'll also mention that, we've got small guys, extra small guys who can't find gear that fit them or clothes to fit them.
Absolutely.
And we have done in the same opposite. We have made things so that they fit them because they don't find things that in their size. In fact, interestingly enough, one of the Ranger harnesses that we did, we put on a guy in MAL, and it just looked kind of hilarious, but it was so big on him. And I said, but he wanted it so badly. And I said, you know what, we'll make a smaller version of this just for you because, because we can. Each part that we make is made by us. We literally have the water jet cutting machine. We have, we draw it up on the CAD program, and the nozzle moves around and cuts these pieces. And so it's not like we have mass production.
Yeah.
We literally, each piece is handmade by us for each individual made to order piece. And so, if someone says, hey, I would like mine to say mommy or daddy or something on it, of course we can do that. Or tell them about the Phyrexian harness you made. I mean, it is like...
Yeah, everything kinky to geeky. Like I said earlier, it's like a tattoo. So all the plates, the water jets out there in the garage. I was working on stuff before we even hopped on here. And it's so much fun. The water jet has opened up so much as far as like artistically what we can show, but also just it's cursed our brains because now we cannot look at images without saying, oh, I think I can cut that.
Yes.
It's the artist curse.
Yeah.
But you get that. Like you're probably looking at
you're gonna say,
oh, that would be really well framed up.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about, my background's in production theater, and now I go to live theater, and I cannot enjoy it enough because I want to sit there and watch how they do it and watch how the scenes look and the
so hard.
I'm like,
I'm able to escape. I'm able to get away with that with movies still, luckily. But whenever I go to theater, I can't get away with it. I'm always thinking about that with theater. I'm always
Knowing
like,
how
did they do that? How did they do that? I know why they did that. Oh, that's what they did there. Okay.
It was so funny when we saw Death Becomes Her finally. All the special effects that they do in that, I was just like, whoa, how'd they do that?
Somebody unfortunately illegally videotaped it on and put it on TikTok, but the staircase sequence is
I did see that. I did see that because I'm glad I hadn't seen that before I saw it live. Because
agreed. I wish I had seen it before, but I didn't. But so I saw TikTok, but it's amazing. So I mean,
yeah,
it was awesome.
Yes, that show. Whew. Anyway, yeah.
You'll have to come back to New York and see some more shows.
Well, absolutely. I want to come and make New York a much more a regular trip. So I mean, hey, we were there twice in January, so why not?
That's true. I was thrilled to get you here, and work with you.
Yeah.
So
We'll wait till it's warmer.
Very, very, very close together. So that was really nice. So
yeah.
You should actually you should come out for one of Richard's dances that he puts on.
Oh yeah, he was telling me about that. I just had a conversation with him a couple of days ago about I guess they had one last Sunday or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my friend Brandon, who's a DJ, might get involved with that as well. So yeah, that would be. I'd love to do a pop up. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I was gonna say you should do a pop up there. I bet Richard would love that. So
yeah, and just show off what and you don't have to have much. We just have examples and say, hey, this is what we can do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think
that'd be
amazing.
I'd love to do that.
And gives you a reason to come back to New York. So that's always a good.
Like I twist my arm.
More.
Twist it.
So I know you said that's about 6 to 8 weeks to make a piece, but how many hours is Eric? The thing you're wearing. How many hours would you say that is right now?
I would probably say 5 to 6 hours total, but it has to come in increments because the plates take different steps between getting cut, buffed, backed, everything. The leather, we have to make sure we have the right amount. Sometimes we order more. Sometimes we have to sew our own leather. Like the table back there, we actually have leather hides that we'll run it through a roller machine to make the straps, fold them over, and then sew the straps ourselves sometimes. So if we were given no necessary breaks, several hours, but with the breaks and days and multiple projects,
Yeah, like like these have a color aluminum adhered on the back, and so we always give a 12-hour drying.
True, I forgot about that.
You know,
There's at least
so
12 to 24 hours.
oftentimes
to
we try to make sure that something glued at night so it's dried by the next day. And then like especially with the pieces, if we put it into the tumbler, we put that in a tumbler, and that usually takes 4 to 8 hours depending on how long we want to do it, because the tumbler gives it's very much like a rock tumbler that shines up rocks. You put this in here along with some media, and it takes the sharp edges off of the metal piece.
Oh, sure, of course.
So that you don't, cut yourself. And then after it's been tumbled, we then use a either a sandpaper or a buffing wheel to a flat wheel that then takes it and puts a nice brushed finish on it. And then we cut out the aluminum backplate, and we adhere it to the back, let that dry, and then there's the final buffing. And then, while he's doing that, I'm in here, I'm cutting the leather, I'm sewing it, I'm cutting it to length, I'm punching holes in it, and, and
all the sliders are also made by us with the water jet. So like,
we make our own hardware
here. Like the only thing that we don't make on the harness here is the buckle in the middle, which is one of our main features for anybody who's never seen one of our harnesses. You got the front, back, full suspenders. Once you take it off here on the belt loops, if it doesn't get caught, then
it comes off very easily. And anyone who's ever tried to do a traditional harness, you always feel like you're doing getting a straight jacket or something.
You might pull
the
hair.
buckle was my favorite feature on the harness you got from me. I was like, this is so easy to take off.
Yep.
It's so crazy easy.
And then once it's good for you, there you go.
Yeah. It's super, super cool though. And very comfortable, everybody. So I encourage you, if you want a harness and you don't have one, even if you do have one, you should get one from Cockeye Kink. You can go to cockeyekink.com.
Yes.
But you should do it soon because you want it for the summer. So, and it's a 6 to 8 week turnaround. So
right, exactly.
Yep. Queue's filling up. We got all the events, travel times, get in soon.
Yeah.
Because apparently also they are traveling the world. So
I tell you, it's exciting.
Never thought I'd be a globe-trotting gay.
Now a dream has come true, isn't it? So Eric, we know Claire is from Oklahoma. Where are you from originally?
I was born in North Carolina, outside of Charlotte area. Lived around Greenville, South Carolina for about the same amount of time. So I moved away when I was 24, 25-ish. Lived in Iowa for a few years, and then 2019 rolls around. Claire was starting up with this. I was at a point in my life where I was ready to move out to Seattle because honestly, Seattle was always kind of like a whisper in the back of my head. I know that may sound weird, but it always felt right. I never even
that's a great city. I love it. I can understand. So
I'd never even visited Seattle before moving here.
I was the same way with New York, though. I grew up and I always knew New York was where I was going to go. I never saw it, but I knew it was where I was going to go. So
there's just something that pulls at the soul that says that's the direction to go. So I made the Pet Shop Boys proud. I went west, and then moved out here when we were starting this up. And we originally had a much smaller machine called a Protomax that is about the size of an old refrigerator and can cut about a square foot of cutting radius up to a couple inches thick. And that was the machine we started off here. And, we've slowly grown out of the garage into the main house. We used to have a dining table area. And then
I understand when your art takes over your life. So
yeah. And then about 3 years later, we upgraded to the new machine that we have. It's called a Global Max. It's a little larger than a pool table. Can cut 3 to 4 square or 3 by 4-ish square foot radius or cutting diameter. So much bigger that we can cut much faster because it's got a bigger motor, so we can amp up production. And then fun fact, something that Claire reminded me earlier today, 3 years ago today, looking at memories and photos and everything, is when we actually got this water jet upgrade delivered to the
you know how Google loves to throw up 3 years ago today,
yeah.
And I look at this and literally it shows them placing the Yeah, because once it's placed, it's heavy and it's big. It doesn't move.
Yeah.
So then placing the tank and setting up all the deals. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe, but that happened 3 years ago.
That's amazing.
And we're and we've been just chugging along ever since. And that's what's great about it, is it really did help with our speed of our production. Not only could we cut faster, but we cut more. We went from a 5 horsepower pump to a 20 horsepower pump, which goes up to 60,000 psi. So I mean, it will literally cut through any material several inches thick. We don't do that because we don't need to. Most thickest that we've done. If you ever get to the Austin Eagle, we made a big aluminum wall sign of their logo out of 1/4 inch. Was it 1/4 inch? Anyway,
no,
1/8 inch.
Yeah, I think it might have been 1/4.
1/4 inch. Yeah, I think it was 1/4 inch aluminum.
Yeah,
like it was like
lightweight.
3 feet by almost 6 feet wide, and we cut it in a way that could be 3 pieces that then bolted together. So it was, that was something cool, and like I said, we are a fabricator, so it doesn't have to be kinky. We can make anything, and we can also cut things like out of stone and glass and all that kind of stuff too. So, every once in a while, we just like someone will say, "Hey, I need this I need this tile cut for my my project." I'm like, "Okay, bring it over. We'll cut it." So it is it's pretty neat, pretty cool.
So that opens up a lot of possibilities. Yeah, that's really really cool, actually.
Like I said, it's a curse.
I understand. I can relate in many ways. But I'm really excited to see what you're all doing this year and how things will continue. I want to I keep seeing more and more people posting and tagging you on Facebook and everything, and I'm like, oh, this is so exciting. They're getting out there, and people are knowing them, and they're not just my secret anymore. So
get it while it's hot.
That's the thing. I was in on the ground floor, though. I haven't been, because you've been doing this for 6 years. But I mean, I like to pretend I was in the ground floor. But
yes,
yeah. But no, I mean, and you are also incredibly supportive of the community, I have to say, because you helped us out with the contract. I've already said you helped out Bryce with his music videos. I mean, it's really beautiful to see that you are committed to not just making really great things for people, but also helping the community to do the things that they're doing to make great things for people. So that's one of the things that really excited me about working with you, and when Richard told me about what you all do and everything. So
nice.
Thank you.
So the whole year is planned for you. I don't have to say what's next. You've already told me everything that's next for you all. So are you thinking about well, I guess you talked about that too. I was going to say, are you thinking about designing new things? But you already talked about how you want to move into retail and all that. Maybe if that moves into the thing, do you have new designs you're trying out and things that you're
absolutely
testing?
We're going to have some new things at IML that we're going to be showcasing, and I'm going to hesitate to mention it right now because they are prototypes, but keep an eye on our social media. Keep an eye on coming to our events, because usually events is where we do soft launches on ideas, test them out, see. One of the things we've done in the last year or so is just being able to make formal leathers, that people wear to an event, where it's the matching pants, shirt, mirror cap, gloves, jacket. If you for the full, as they call, high cow look, and when people are like I say, moving to just beyond black. I mean, they want colors, they want texture, so it's pretty neat.
I think that is cool, because I am somebody who very much wouldn't want to look like everyone else. If I were to wear an outfit or something, I would want to. I'd want to stand out, because
of course.
I'm an actor. I want to
exactly.
When can you do glitter on leather? That's the question.
Yes, actually we can.
Yes.
Really?
The pink leather that we're going to do for the Pink Pony Club is going to be glitter leather. We're even coming up with designs for Elphaba and Glinda.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you teased me with that one. I think when you were here. I'm really excited to hear about
wicked
those.
themed harness. So
Yes.
You'll have to get that ready before November, so that way.
Yes, of course. And of course, we had some amazing Barbie harnesses when Barbie movie was out. So
I am sure you did. I can only imagine.
Pop culture, that's us, you know.
And you've got to get. I'm assuming you have a Superman harness ready to go for the summer.
Oh, but of course, we have two different designs. I went to New York Comic Con in 2019 wearing a Superman harness, and it's hilarious because my niece was a cosplayer at the time, and my sister was there, and she's not quite as used to seeing me in that type of clothes, and so she was like, I was there, I had pants on, so it's just the harness, but she's like, walk around shirtless in her mind. But hilariously enough, is my niece decided to do a mashup of Wonder Woman and of the Tank Girl, of Harley Quinn, and so she was dressed as Wonder Woman, and I was dressed as Superman or Superman harness. And the fun part of a Comic-Con is like taking pictures out in the front, right? Everybody poses and hilariously, this guy, older gentleman, had his camera out, taking pictures and video of me and Amber, and not knowing that my sister was my sister, said to him, "Now that's a Superman movie I'd pay to see."
That's another. I mean, I know that because I saw. I've been to Comic-Con, not recently, but I was at Comic-Con for a couple of years in a row. They have booths with leather and harnesses and things. So that's a place to go with your.
I would love.
Gen Con is on the list if we could ever get into that.
Oh, I'd love to be at this. Believe me,
we would love to explore the geeky side, and it's so much.
Yeah,
and you've got more fans in the audience.
Yay!
Vehemence. They do rock. I can confirm that as well. For anyone who's asking. We are just about out of time. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us or tell us about to whet our appetites and make us come for more?
Well, we are in the process of redoing and upgrading our online store. Currently, we're an Etsy site, and we've outgrown that. So we're in the process of redoing our Shopify site, which will make it a lot more easier to order things. And so keep an eye on. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. And we will show, we'll make these announcements and say, check out our new website or check out these new outfits. That's one thing right now is we've been limited by some of these new pants and shirts not being able to have them on our store because our store is being redone. So, right now people are like, oh, where can I get those pants? I'm like, oh, send me an email.
Yeah.
we'll get it done. But, we're wanting to streamline that process. So I'm just keep an eye out for us. We're going to be growing and getting better over the next 6 to 12 months. And it's going to be exciting. And you jump on in, like I say, get in on the ground floor.
Exactly. Everyone's going to be having a Cockeye Kink harness, so you want to make sure you have one before that. Before it was every mainstream and everything. So,
absolutely.
Thank you both so much for being here. And again, I cannot thank you enough for helping make and elevating the contract the way you did with your pieces, because it really did enhance everything we were doing and make it more authentic. There's such a difference between I'm going to sound like a commercial right now, but there's such a difference between a handcrafted piece like what you make and just buying something off of Amazon to slap on somebody. It's a massive difference, and it makes it look legit in ways that I needed it to for the movie, and that most people want to look when they go out and wearing these kinds of pieces. So everyone, I highly recommend Cockeye Kink because they're both super awesome people and they make amazing pieces. So go to cockeyekink.com, the website that is below me the whole time for the most part, and you'll talk to the two of them. All right. Thank you so much.
As well.
Of course, and follow them on socials as well. And in the meantime, I will be back next week with more SideKick Power Hour. But for now, it is goodbye, everybody. So bye.
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 And that's the tea.